How's it going, guys? I'm here to talk about how I would have done Halloween Ends, or at least my version of it differently. If you guys haven't seen my spoiler review, go check it out now. It's where I broke down the details of what I liked and didn't like about the movie. So, this, like I said, this is my take of how I would have done it differently, or how I would have executed it differently. So, please enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, and enjoy the show. So, how the movie would have started, in my opinion, I would have the Silver Shamrock song from, the Happy Halloween commercial song from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. The song will play when the movie starts, with the Blumhouse and Universal Studios logo. As soon as the logo starts to kick in, that song is playing, because in the original cut, there was already like radio noises and radio songs, Halloween spooky classics that was playing. But instead of that, you have the Silver Shamrock song, which will be cool. And then after that, that's where the movie opens up, not with Corey babysitting, but instead you have a flashback explaining young Michael Myers' origin and his influence on the radio tower. And what I mean by the radio tower is pretty much, it's been hinted like crazy by the director David Gordon Green, and people were making theories, like theory videos out of it. It's been teased that it might have like some kind of higher power, or like something to do with what's really going on, right? It's been teased like that, or it's been theorized, and it's actually been hinted in Halloween Kills, because David Gordon Green, he digitally put it there in the background for a reason. So you would think that it has something to do with Michael, and pretty much the reason why he does what he does. So he hears voices from it after being left trick-or-treating by himself from his sister Judith. And then that's when he gets possessed, because he hears noises, or I mean, not noises, he hears voices of telling him to kill, pretty much. And then that's when he gets possessed, and he goes back home for the original opening sequence that we all know and love. And then after that, then that's when you get the Corey Cunningham opening sequence with him babysitting the kid. Everything in that scene is still the same, and then the town hitting on him is still the same. And here's the thing that wasn't explained in this movie, which I wish it was. At the end of Halloween Kills, Karen sees Michael's younger self, or the young version of Michael Myers, hit the little kid. You see him, at least his reflection in the window, just staring. And she goes upstairs and to see that window, and then that's when she turns around and gets killed by Michael, of course. But I never really I don't know if it was supposed to be like a metaphor or what, but what I thought was maybe Michael's or his inner spirit, his good spirit, his maybe like the child, he's still trapped in that house. At least his spirit's trapped, and that's what it means. Like the spirits that's been taken over are trapped in like mirrors or something like that. It's a little far-fetched, but I mean, it's a crazy theory, but that's what I was thinking. Like, at least his good spirit's looming around in the town of Haddonfield as soon as he got possessed. And that's why you see his reflection in the last movie. And then Corey's, like, here's the thing, obviously Corey gets the power, or gets Michael's evil in Halloween Ends, but I will have Corey's, pretty much his good spirit will be trapped in the junkyard, pretty much being reflected. And then the thing that I didn't like about Halloween Ends is how Laurie moved on after her daughter Karen literally just got killed last year on Halloween, and she just moved on, kind of like to live a better life, which I find it hard to believe, because this is the same woman who didn't move on for 40 years after the first movie, and her daughter literally was killed 3 years prior to this movie. So yeah, I don't know, but in this version I would have Laurie not moved on, like she hasn't moved on, and pushes herself even harder to be prepared to kill Michael, while Allison wants to move on and has a real reason to leave Haddonfield. And Haddonfield is revealed to be, well, this one might sound a little far-fetched, but it's either this. Haddonfield is revealed to be built on top of some Indian burial ground. I know that might sound cliche, but at the same time, it would make a lot more sense with the whole radio tower. Because we've seen movies that's been done like this, like the Amityville Horror, or even the Blair Witch Project's been theorized with this whole Indian burial ground thing in the franchise. So it kind of makes sense, but I mean, and then the radio tower is controlled by a demon and it calls to people every generation. But I had an idea. Maybe you can get rid of the Indian burial ground segment, and you can just have the demon Samhain just put like controlling the radio tower, because he shows up every Halloween telling people to make sacrifices for him. Then that'll make more sense if you think about it. But those were the two reasons that I think that could have been used for the movie. And obviously, a lot of people were complaining that Michael was too weak and he was just getting like bitched on the whole movie pretty much. But here's the thing, Michael's getting old and his power's getting weak. So I mean, I didn't mind Michael being weak, not at all, but like I said, he's getting old, his power's getting weak, and then Corey is the next chosen killer by the demon in this version for Halloween sacrifices, because obviously he's young, and the demon or the evil wants to go to a younger host because Michael's getting old. And obviously there's not going to be much screen time of Corey and Allison's relationship and love affair, because honestly that's one of the few things I didn't like about the movie. They focused on that way too much. So we'll just have like as soon as the movie starts after Corey's babysitting incident, well, it's already going to be established that because you already know how in the movie Allison had a thing with this cop and he's an ex. Well, that's already established. Instead of that, we can just say that Corey and Allison are already established like as a couple after the events. You don't have to like dig deep a whole hour of them just like getting to know each other and shit. You can just start off them just already in a relationship. It saves a lot of time and a lot more shit to explain in this movie and to show in this movie that's actually pretty much meaningful. And one of the few things I didn't like, or not like, but one of the few questions I had was, how does Michael Myers know how to drive still? They never really explain how he drives or whatnot. But so Corey explains to Allison that obviously he doesn't drive very well because of the babysitting incident took a hold on him. So he's been pretty much depressed and not moving forward with life, yada yada. And he doesn't have a license, so that's why he wants experience to work in the junkyard and learn, the cars and mechanics and saving money to get one, or at least a motorcycle. So there's that, but I'll get back to that later. After Corey gets thrown into the river, like by the marching band bullies, which I find hard to believe that these kids were marching band people. I'll knock them sideways. But anyways, he then meets Michael, and that's when he sees the evil eyes, and then he hears voices telling him to kill by the Samhain demon, and then he gets possessed, and Michael lets him go. So Corey, as soon as Corey's possessed, and when Michael lets him go, that's when Corey kills the homeless man, and that's when he goes to his job to get, obviously, his jumpsuit, and kills his dad, then steals an exact clean white copy of Michael Myers' mask that resembles the 78 version at a Halloween store. So that way he doesn't have to fight Michael for his own mask. He can just get his own shape mask that's much more cleaner and that resembles the 78 version. It's white and clean. And his jumpsuit's still more blue, and that's when he drives good with no trouble because, like I said, he's possessed. That'll explain a little bit of that. And when Michael and Corey that's when Michael and Corey, they tag team to kill Allison's ex, his coworkers, just anything, right? So that's when Michael and Corey tag team. Corey doesn't have to wear that scarecrow mask. He can obviously wear his own shape outfit, and Michael still has his own. So, and every kill that Corey does after that is pretty much the same still. He still kills the same bullies. He still kills his mom. He still does everything, but that's one of the few things I would have not done. Just show a scene of how he would have killed the mom. You can tell that scene was cut. I don't know if they're gonna do an extended version of that soon. We'll see, but I still would have showed that. And then the ending I would have been different. Corey kidnaps Allison for himself because obviously he loves her, right? And he uses Allison to bait Laurie to the junkyard, and that's where the final fight is gonna take place. You have both Michael and Corey fighting Laurie, and then Laurie has to use her tactics. And to be fair, she can bring Lindsay with her because Lindsay, I felt like she was not really used in the movie that much. I mean, like, she was there for like at least 2 or 3 scenes, but she wasn't like in the movie at all, surprisingly. So I would have had her more in the movie because obviously she's been around since the first movie. She's like part of this Halloween franchise. So I would have Lindsay and Laurie kind of like tag teaming to fight both Michael and Corey. And eventually Lindsay dies, and she continues to fight Corey and Michael, Laurie, and then she contains Michael. She kind of traps Michael and crucifies Michael because, you know, he's still growing weak. And she continues to fight, shoot, stab Corey, eventually beheading him like a throwback to H2O. Here's the thing, I thought Laurie could probably behead Corey, or maybe it'll make more sense if Allison beheads Corey, like a throwback to H2O, like I said. Either way, Allison and Laurie, they go back to Michael, then slit his throat and his wrist, kind of like what we've seen in the original version. And then the whole town comes to the junkyard, and that's when they finish off Michael the same way in the original ending. So after that, I mean, these are the changes I wanted in this film. Everything else I don't have a problem with. Everything else with, you know, with Hawkins and Hawkins showing up with the town and all that good stuff, it's still the same. I'm not going to change that. So after you have that ending, the good ending's still the same. Like I said, Laurie loves Hawkins. They stay in Haddonfield. Allison leaves Haddonfield. You see Michael's mask in the daylight, but you see young Michael's and Corey's spirit disappears in the windows of both Michael's house and in the junkyard. And the last thing you see at night is the radio tower gleaming red again, and you hear the same Demon Sam Hain voices, and that's when the credits roll with the same song, Don't Fear the Reaper. Not gonna change that. So yeah, that's how I would have done Halloween Ends. It would have kind of explained a lot more shit that happened in the movie. And then honestly, like I said, with this execution that I just told, I feel like at least it would have been a little bit received better. Obviously, people are probably going to hate this idea, what I just said, or just told in this video. There's still going to be people not liking this idea of the explanation of Michael's evil and the root behind what he does. But hey, I mean, I don't know. People are not going to be a fan of this regardless. And people are going to be a fan of this, at least one or two people. But that's just my execution of how I would have done Halloween Ends. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.